What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Ray, and welcome to another fantastic This Week in Reselling podcast. And guys, this one is an absolute banger. We had Liz with Colorado Reworn here on the podcast, and this is so good because she is like an eBay ambassador. She literally just got off the plane from visiting eBay headquarters, and that is not a joke. That is legitimately the truth. And on this episode of the podcast, she tells us everything that happened on eBay Open, all the keynotes, all the misinformation. There's rumors going around that are not true. So she clears all that up. So we're going to break it up into 4 parts. I don't know which part this is because this is going to be on in the beginning of all 4 parts. So shout out to Liz. I hope you enjoy this. This is our first 4-parter episode. And I'm super excited for you guys to listen. A lot of great value. You're going to want to listen to all the episodes. And so make sure you follow Liz. All her stuff will be down in the description below. And shout out to all the channel memberships, Mike Mecco Meetup, and Gem Flipper. Guys, the channel memberships are up and about. So if you guys want to be part of the Flip family, yes, I just made that up. Make sure to hit the channel memberships and you get behind the scenes exclusive podcast videos. So with that being said, enjoy the episode. Love each and every one of you guys, and God bless. Peace.
That's one thing that I think that we talked about, Ray.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
And I haven't posted about this yet.
Brendan brought up a great question last week on the podcast. Brendan, what was your specific question?
Listened to it.
You're like one of 3 people that listens to the podcast. No, but no,
I'll invite a friend.
Yeah, thank
you.
There you go. That's what I heard, but I don't know. Read it somewhere that somebody went and said something like, if you have calculated shipping on your listings, it won't translate over to Google. Like if you're searching for, if I'm searching for, I don't know, this eraser.
Right.
And if you got like shipping based on where you're at to say, I'm going to ship it to Joe, it won't come out. But if somebody has free shipping on it, it'll show up.
And I heard that too.
Or flat rate, one of the 2.
I have heard so much about that, and I'll get to that. I'm going to say this.
Okay.
This is me. This is what I do. When I hear stuff, I will ask AI. I'd use Gemini, ChatGPT, whatever.
Which one's your favorite?
Gemini, but for no reason. I don't know. For me, I've done titles and descriptions using Gemini, and they just worked better for me. I don't know. But I'll use both.
Interesting.
But I'll ask and I try and verify it, and I can't find anything in writing that says that. And I listened to the thing and I didn't hear it. But there are other people that I know in in our selling community that heard it or interpreted it that way. But I believe this person heard it. And also they were doing, so one of the things that you got to do at eBay Open, there was a whole huge area dedicated. You could make an appointment and sit down with an advisor for 15 minutes. They do a printout of your store, and they have so much data on your store that we don't get access to.
Oh, wow.
I missed mine because I was busy. I did a lot at Open. I said yes to too many things. So I missed mine, but thank goodness I already have an advisor. And I was like, hey, can you email me that report when you get back? But it shows you some really cool things. But one of the things that these people were told that they said was that their advisor told them that you can't run offsite ads on Google if you're using calculated shipping, right? And I've seen this in the last 2 weeks in the selling community. So what I do is I test it. I'm like, what do you mean? So I put up an Instagram story. I'm like, if you do calculated shipping, message me your store. I'm running a test. And I had like 20 people. And out of those 20 people, half of their items showed up. I did random Google searches. I just went incognito and I searched for highly saturated market. A lot of clothing sellers do calculated shipping. So I searched for generic items. I would find an item both in Google search and in Google shopping. So 2 different tabs, calculated shipping items show up.
Okay. That's good.
So is it just random then, I guess? I don't know.
So here's the thing.
Or maybe it's just a myth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be. Or it could have been true 3 months ago.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right? It could have been true 3 months ago.
Yes.
That I don't know, but I have heard that in the past. Now I know that ads showing up last year, 2 years ago, that was the case. But there was another person that came in and like, no, I just started running offsite ads and I do calculated shipping and it can be done. I was at eBay headquarters for a different reason last week, and I asked the question and I was told, yeah, it shows up. Your test is right. Here's the thing. When I listened to these workshops and when I first started going, when I was a new full-time seller, I took every single thing that eBay said as the holy gospel truth, and I held it on a pedestal, and they're the number ones, and they are. I mean, those are the product specialists, whatever. But I've learned that the wording matters. So when you listen to these, it's best practices. It's not you will do this in order to rank higher. Hey, you could rank higher if you happen to do this, right? And a lot of it's reading between the lines, because we are such a diverse community of sellers on a marketplace. eBay's the most diverse. I mean, besides Amazon, I'm not going to put Amazon and eBay in the same market because they're big commerce versus e-commerce, right?
Yeah.
So eBay doesn't compete against us. They don't sell stuff. It's just a marketplace.
Apples and oranges. Yeah.
It really is. So we are the largest. Or eBay's the largest. eBay has the most customers. They have the most sellers. They have the most items and the largest category when you look at marketplaces like Mercari and Poshmark and Etsy, right? So really, I don't want to go and do this whole entire session. If you're going to listen to one, this is the number one to listen to. Listen to the wording, read between the lines. Listen. So it is the eBay. So Dainty. He's the eBay architect. He's the senior director of search. So senior director of search. If anybody knows about eBay search, it's going to be him. The eBay Bible.
The Bible.
And then there is a lady. She's a business strategist, and she works with eBay. She works for Google, but eBay is her account as a business.
Oh, wow.
strategist.
So they have a specific person for Google just for eBay.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Okay.
So this was hands down. I mean, it was the one. I was super busy. Like I said, I spoke twice. I had to do practices. I was doing paid social content. And then I was doing some other pulling people in and doing interviews for eBay channels too. So
Shaking hands, kissing babies.
Not really. I'm meeting people, right? And catching up with friends that I had. And there were still friends that I was like, yeah, I'll see you there. I can't wait to see you. Got home and I'm like, we never even saw each other.
Yeah.
Because it was really that busy, right? I had my agenda. I had questions. My number one priority was going to the shipping desk, going to the authenticity, going to, government relations and asking these questions.
Mm-hmm.
What were some questions you asked government relations?
So I'm an so we can go on a whole other thing now, but really how can we market? Do you need sellers in other states? What are we working on right now? So eBay government relations, they're one marketplace, and they actually have a team in DC, and they track, it's a nonpartisan, they track any legislation that affects sellers. So when you think about the 1099, there's the Inform Act, there's the SAFE Act. Sometimes when it's a big scale, like the SAFE Act, I don't know if the SAFE Act, but they will form coalitions. So they'll get together with Etsy and Poshmark and form a coalition to go out and really grassroots campaign to get legislators on all sides to listen to sellers and be like, don't pass this bill. It's going to hurt us. And this is how. Or we really want you guys to push this through because this is why it's good for your constituents.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I just wanted to see what was going on. And those are the kind of things hey, and any seller can participate. If you've got a selling account, you can go into eBay Main Street and sign up, and you just get emails when something comes up. Hey, this is going on. We thought you'd like to know. If you want to write a letter to your senator, here's a pre-filled one for you.
Oh, wow.
If you agree with it, you can sign it, and then they take care of and so I can sign up. I'm read through this. I'm yeah, I agree with that. Let me digitally sign my name and submit it. They know my zip code, so they're sending it to my senator for me.
That's awesome.
Very
And
cool.
I've gotten
Yeah.
emails back.
Yeah, I
Like,
was
hey,
not
we
aware of
got it.
that. Yeah.
Thank you. But then to step up from that, I'm a small business, and they have a network of captains to where we just take it one step further, and we will be like, okay, what can we do to help? You know, oh, do you know anybody in Illinois? Because there's a lot of bills coming up in Illinois. Do you know any sellers there? Oh yeah, I happen to know some. You know, let me get with them and see if they have a bigger network of local sellers. Just different little bills that passes, a lot of taxes, a lot of whatever.
Was the
right?
tariff thing a big issue? Like with it's we got it, we don't got it. Like
The
I'm
tariff
sure a
thing
lot of
is
people
a
were like
current
freaking out.
issue that
Yeah.
is changing by the hour,
By
and
the
eBay
hour.
is tracking it. eBay has a big office in DC, and they're tracking it constantly and keeping updated. That's actually why I was in headquarters. Is I went to an S-Band captains meeting, so we could get kind of up to date on what's going on, and then get to talk to different teams at eBay and give our input and whatnot.
Where is eBay HQ? Is it like in a underground bunker
It's
somewhere?
in an underground bunker below the Denver airport. Look up Denver airport.
Yeah, right.
No, I'm just kidding. It's in San Jose. It's in an old building that they used to rent one little room at, and then over the years they've just bought the entire property.
There you go.
But yeah, but I can't remember where I was going with that. Oh yeah, so you know, you could walk around and ask questions. That's kind of what I was really focused on. But so going back, I lost my train of thought. So, but Pete talked a lot. So the eBay Senior Director of Search, Pete Dainty. I want to say it's Pete. And damn it, I'm going to be so mad if that's not his name. But it's Pete. But really, look at these, and it's best practices. And they open, hey, here's some best practices, right? So you look at search, right? And you just stop and think about, there are how many, I think I just did a post. I responded to somebody. There's something like 2.3 billion eBay listings, right? Active eBay listings. Think about how many items are sold every second and how many listings are sold every second. And this is worldwide, right? That is a lot. And there's something like, there's so many millions of sellers. I just responded to somebody's post. I can't remember where.
I wonder how many of those
are. Because I did the research this morning. But because, again, I'm a nerd. I'm just whatever, right? So you think about that, and you think about, how is Google going to display that? Each of us can do a Google search and push the enter button at the same exact second, and we're all going to get different results because that's how fast things change.
Right.
And then you take in browser history, search history, what network, I mean, everything. I'm not a tech geek, right? I'm just I want to learn this stuff geek.
You don't want to see Ken's search history.
Yeah,
I'm not looking at anybody's search.
It's real cheesy.
But Google does. But Google does.
Yeah.
Don't want my mother looking into that either.
Right. But this all goes back to one of the things. So one thing that he really was saying that my brain has stuck with, right, is search. And they call it, and I'm not, if you know what this is, great. If not, join me. I just learned this term when he was speaking. It's called agentic search. And so it's when, like, if you go to Google and you type in, or if you go to eBay search, you're typing in, you know, Adidas size 11, whatever model of shoe, right? So what about the shopper that doesn't know what they want? They're like, which is most people, I need a round dining room table that's no more than 84 inches in a dark wood that stands 32 inches tall. That's more of a natural search. That's what people would put into ChatGPT. Right? So when I had, and it was so mad that they took it away, that there was a little AI symbol in the bottom. It was like right down in the corner. It's gone now. And you could push it and be like, can you find me da 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 da? And eBay would pull it up for me.
Wow.
So that's more of a natural search. So eBay is using your listings to find this. So things that I'm thinking of is, it needs, like, the more It's not there yet. And I can't remember the phrasing, but go back and watch this one. But like, hey, the more we can read from your listings, the more your item can show up in search. So right now we're relying on your title, item specifics. They talk so much about that, and it directly correlates with Google. I mean, Google is doing that. Now, one thing that they said is your item descriptions are searchable. That used to never be the case.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I tested it.
I don't even bother with this. I don't even bother with descriptions. I just copy the title.
Right.
So you say no, so it's not working?
So here's the thing. I can just go, you can go on eBay right now, right? And I can find one of your listings. And I'm going to pull a couple of words from one of your descriptions that's not in your title or description. Here's a great example. And I'm going to go back to clothing. You take your category and think about a keyword, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of, I don't know, like a shirt. Blue, eBay, hoodie, women's, medium. Basic search, right? And that's what somebody's going to type in. In the description, they're going to be like, this is a blue eBay hoodie. It has a drawstring. It had full zip. And it is a size medium. Right? I didn't have full zip, but I might have it in item specific. So if somebody types full zip hoodie, my item's still going to show up. Okay. If they type in blue hoodie, size medium, it's not going to show up. And the reason being is because the word size was not in that title, and it wasn't in the item specifics because it's not one from the pull down menu. But if I put it in my description, it's still not showing up in search. So that tells me that not all eBay item descriptions are showing up. And again, this comes in, I think it was Reagan that said it. It's an old, I think, Russian phrase, trust but verify. So when you hear something that sounds great or not great, go test it.
Yeah.
Go test it. And my test has proved 90%, like if you don't have the word size in your title, it's not going to show up, even if you have it in your description. Some do. Now, there's going to be some, right? Now, is eBay going to that? My brain is telling me yes. This is just the way people are going to search now, right? They're not going to go to eBay and be like, blue hoodie, size, medium, drawstring, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to say, hey, I'm looking for an eBay branded hoodie in a size medium. Show me black and blue, and I want it 100% cotton.
And that's what they're going to talk into on the eBay search.
Right. So I could see that. I mean, I can't now. So if anybody has it, go try that out. But in that little AI symbol, I could also be on, on a listing, and there's pre-populated fields. How much is shipping? What's the size? And it'll just give them the answer. Like I was able to, and I think I might have posted about it on Instagram, actually. I'm not trying to make people follow me, but you don't have to follow me.
But guys, we'll make sure to put all of Liz's socials down in the description below so you can reference the things that she's talking about.
Thank you. And like I said, if I'm not your cup of tea, that's fine. I don't take offense to that. But there are some things in here I occasionally have some good information. Occasionally. I'm trying to find that.
I was gonna say earlier when you talked about government relations, I was like, you should just run for Congress.
No, thank you.
And then push all that stuff through.
You can be one of the eBay people that represent us.
Well, so there's like eBay ambassadors, there's eBay mentors, there's eBay, but that's kind of my thing. That's why I like doing this, because I like to be able to go into my community. So I do like quarterly seller meetups. Mm-hmm. I am on Instagram. And any information that I find out that I think that people could benefit from, I will share. But like right now, I'm trying to, I spent last month just traveling. I had my worst month in years. All my fault. I listed like nothing. I didn't run sales. I didn't do anything. Like it was summertime and I was busy. So I'm spending time trying to catch up and get my store ready for Q4. Yeah. While also listening to this stuff and thinking like, oh my gosh, now I want to start adding more stuff to my listings, right? Mm-hmm. Now I want to, and Brendan, I mean, and I understand why people don't do it. If I didn't sell clothing, my description would be like, thanks. Because you have everything in the title.
Yeah, everything's there. But
Yeah,
now because of AI and everything that it's pulling from, it's like almost overkill could actually like help you in the long run. If people are just being like super vague and not knowing what they want, it could pull from all that information. And I think like item specifics is probably more important than ever to make sure that all those fields are filled in correctly, because that's what eBay is drawing from. That's what Google's drawing from. It's more important than ever.
It is. And actually, I just remembered when I went back, when I was talking about something, I got a little flustered. Is something to think about is, what's the future? So you think about how many listings, we talked about how many listings there are and how many searches, right? Mm-hmm. The more information you can have, the better the probability that you'll show up in Google search. Now, is not showing up in Google search going to kill your business? No. I mean, I sell just fine when I actually list, right? And I only get like 5% of traffic from Google. So if you're only getting 1% of Google traffic and you're selling $20,000 a month and you're happy with what you're making, okay. Like, why are you going to
a lot? Yeah,
entire business model, right? But if you're like, I want to take it to the next step. If you're happy doing what you're doing, don't take any tips, right? It's just the way it is. If you're doing great, why change anything? But if
a few small steps, it sounds like, could give you that opportunity or that probability of, increasing that. Yeah. Hey, if I can increase, if I'm happy now, I can make a couple little changes. And I'd be even happier.
And I think that's where a lot of us are at. Like, I'm okay where I'm at, but how can I do this better? How can I, if I can get a higher Google search, higher click-through rate, more eyes on my items, that means the more potential for a sale. Maybe I can sell my item faster. At what cost? Really, this cost is minimal. Like, filling in item specifics, make sure that they're from the drop-down menu, because that's how eBay reads it. Because in that, they did say 40% of eBay, they have this data, and everything's data-driven. 40% of eBay customers use the search filters. So when they're searching, they're filtering by color, by brand, by fabric content, by part number, by whatever. 40% of users on eBay are using that search bar. Those search filters directly correlate to your item specifics that you are using. If you're filling in your own, they're not showing up on that search filter. So if I have a lavender hoodie, I want to use purple, because lavender is a shade of purple. If I put in lavender, they're not going to see it.
Right.
Ugh.
So things to keep in mind.
But what if I want a lavender
specifics hoodie? Put it in the title. Put lavender in the title and use purple in the item specifics. That's my go around.
What do you do if you have multicolor, like a hoodie? Are you picking a dominant color so it'll pop up for certain people?
Here's what I go through, and it's not fact-based, but this is just what I do, and I don't know why, because I'm stuck in my ways. I take the dominant color, or if it's like equally black and white, what's the most popular color?
Black.
I'll choose black.
Isn't there a multicolor option in the drop-down menus?
There is.
Yeah.
Like a buyer. If it's like a lot of colors all mixed together, But my hard and fast rule is, who's going to go in looking for? Fewer people will go in looking for multicolor.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
So I tend to lean that, unless it's just like a 7-color tie-dye equal across the board shirt.
But then you would put tie-dye
as
well, like so in the title. But then and the item specific you would have to.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing. So how many people here? There's 4 of us, 5 of us. I cross list, so I use different platforms. Does anybody else?
I do not.
Okay, so you don't, and that's cool. But if you do, keep that in mind as you're building a title, as you're building item specifics. If you're doing a minimum title but filling in all the item specifics, you're golden on eBay, right? because it's all there. Now, if you take that item and you put it on Poshmark, they don't have item specifics. And if you use zip up, drawstring, hooded, fleece in your item specifics and you don't put it in your description, how's anybody on Poshmark going to find it?
Yeah.
So if you're cross-listing, you have to think like a multi-platform seller, and you kind of have to overkill it.
Good
One of
tip.
the things that I've started doing is I'll listen to TV or whatever with my headphones on, but as I'm either on my phone or I've got a Mac, but I turned on dictation and I just talk. As I'm measuring, I'm like 23 inches underarm to underarm, next line. 22 inches shoulder to hem, next line, new with tags, next line.
Wow.
And I just talk my way through it, and I don't have to touch my keyboard.
Yep, that's what I do.
Yeah, and I don't do it all the time.
I like it.
I mean, it's just one little thing. But that Google, I mean, there was so much information. And like I said, pay attention to the wording, pay attention, like read between the lines. It can take up to 3 days for Google, 3 days or more, depending on your item, for it to index in Google search. And they kind of get into that, like who delists and relists. We all delist and relist items, or something, or whatever it is, whatever.
Is that something, everyone says, like if the item gets stale, delist, relist, does that help at all? Or is it just a myth?
I think it does.
I think
they talk about it. And here's the thing. This is where you have to be very specific to your own store. So there's stale and stagnant listings. Stale listings, I can't remember off the top of my head. It was explained, but something like over 60 days. Stagnant is like over 90 days. So keep that in mind. Delist, relist. Here's the thing. People go through and they search, and they have saved search lists. There are sellers out there that relist their entire inventory every day, every 3 days, every 5 days.
That's crazy.
Guess what? Those sellers are never going to index in Google.
I try to do it every 2 weeks.
So your items may not.
So should I do it like every 30?
So here's the thing. When you delist and relist, stop and think about it. People are searching, right? And sometimes we get that short hit, like you'll see like that instant gratification, like, oh, that's a new item. Sometimes if you leave it longer, eBay's getting information, how many clicks, how much interest, what are the impressions to click ratio? Like how much interest is this thing getting? And then the more interest it's getting, it could move up in search, especially multi-quantity items with the sales history. You don't want to take those down because now eBay has that history saved. Now, do I? Yes. My thing, I try and wait 90 days. I used to be a 2-year girl.
90 sounds good. Yeah.
Then I went to 1 year. And now I'm at 90. But keep this in mind. If you have the same item with the same title and the same item specifics and the same pictures, people have been passing it up for a year when you're doing this every single month. What part of this process is helping you? So delist it. What's wrong with this item? Like, what's the traffic history? Does it have high traffic, but no clicks? Or no purchases? That means people are clicking on it. People are finding it. So then what's wrong with it? Are your pictures bad? Do you not have measurements? Is your price too high? Maybe it was spot on the day you listed it, and then somebody came in and flooded the market. So those are things, and I'm guilty. I delist and relist without changing things. I'm not saying I'm this whatever. But it's things that I start to think about after a year. I'm like, how can I change this? Like, what keywords am I missing? Oh, wow. Why was I charging $95 for that? Market's telling me it's worth $40. Like, no wonder why it hasn't sold.
Changes, yeah.
Now, are you always relisting, or there's that whole relist or sell similar?
So, and I've never gotten, and that was a question I had in my notebook, and I never got to ask, and I always forget to ask it. Because here's the way I think about it. Let's just say you're on eBay. So just to make things clear, I delist and relist directly from my third-party software. So it is a brand new listing with no history.
What third-party software do you use?
I use Vendu for now.
Okay.
There's a lot of great ones.
Do you have a code?
Probably. Yeah, I know I do, but I don't have it. I don't know.
You want to use Vendu? Use code. What is Kristen's code? Squirrel
use
Squad.
Kristen's code.
Use
Yeah,
code.
I'm sure you guys have it.
Use code Liz for Congress.
Yeah, no, gosh, no. I would be horrible. Somebody said, "Oh, you should go." I was like, I would be fired day one for so many HR violations. I can't go back. I can't do that.
Liz going down the halls cursing at people.
I feel like that's dumb. Why would you do that? I'd hurt somebody's feeling. No, I'm just kidding. But it's not my thing. But yeah, so that's what so mine are new every time, and I have the option to easily change things, and I can change it so it changes for all platforms. But think about this: if you're on eBay and you delist, you have the option to relist, and you have the option to sell similar, right? So if you do nothing, both of them produce, and I don't know if it used to be this way because I never tracked it, but people are like, oh, but you get a new item ID if you relist it or sell similar.
You sell similar. Yeah.
You get a new ID and a new web link both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them is a brand new listing each way. Now, does eBay track like past performance? I don't know. And that was the question that I wanted to ask. And that I don't have.
And that's I've wondered that because I know that people delist and relist, and I didn't think it gave it a new item number. I think it just kind of refreshed it up there in the search, gave some attention to it, but kept that original listing date. Like if you would have listed it in, 2023 and you were just delisting and relisting, it kept that 2023 so you could keep your history. But a sell similar, it was whatever that day, that's the new date.
Right.
The other one is gone. And so, when people talk about whether they want to lose their watchers and stuff.
Okay.
Oh, if you relist, it keeps the watchers. If you sell similar, it's like
a
goes
whole
away.
different. Yeah.
Test that
It's
out
like-
again. What was, because I know I did a test and I guess I didn't pay attention because to me, if people are watching it for 2 weeks, they're just not going to, like in my brain, they're not.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
So I guess
Don't get me started on watchers, Liz. Just don't.
But we all have different business models and different categories have different customers. So
True.
if another category, that might not be true. So that's why I always tell people, think about your business. Like if eBay's saying offer free shipping. No, that's a best practice. And it doesn't fit my business model. It only fits my business model for 10% of my inventory. eBay's not saying everybody needs to offer free shipping. It will help. Like they have the data that people click on that tab, right? But also now we have product research. If you're listing an item and only 2% of the sellers are offering free shipping, I don't have to offer free shipping.
Yes.
People are going to pay. I do have some retail arbitrage items that are heavily saturated, but they still make a couple dollars. But I have to offer free shipping if I want my items to sell because 90% of the sellers are doing it. And that's okay because we all know it's all just built in,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a question.